ourselves, and we are live on Facebook. Welcome everyone to our Facebook Live Storyteller series with my dear sister, Polly Letofsky. Thank you for joining us, girl. Where are you coming from?
I'm right here in Denver at my house, at my new house, with kitty cats that you might see hanging around here on occasion because it might be close to their lunchtime.
So thanks for joining us, y'all. And you're going to see Polly right now. She's going to be sharing our conversation to her page and my pages. So if you notice her distracted, that's what she's doing. But feel free to share it with your people because this is going to be a fun one to share. So this Facebook Live is featuring my dear sister, Polly. And I'm just going to read a bit about her, and then we're going to dive into much more conversation, much better than me reading a story. You are going to love hearing from her. So, Polly Letofsky left her Colorado home on August 1st, 1999, and headed west. She walked across 4 continents, 22 countries, and over 14,000 miles by foot to become the first woman to walk around the world. High five. She dedicated her walk to breast cancer, where she did fundraising and advocacy work in each country. While she was on her own, the people of the world came to her aid every day in every way. I love that. The turning point came when Polly was in her first Muslim country, when the events of 9/11 slammed us all into a crossroads in world history. Her walk quickly became more than a fundraising event. It became a journey, personifying the meaning of perseverance and commitment. So that's Polly. Thank you for joining. And before we dive into her story, I want to do a couple little bits of context and get us going into the conversation. One is, my name is Sarah Davison-Tracy. I am the author. I just published 2 books thanks to Polly and her team. And this year, one is called Live Ablaze and Light Up the World, and the other is called Soulfully Ablaze, Your 40-Day Journey to Light Up Your Life and the World. And I'm also the founder of Seeds of Exchange, and what we do is this. We just create conversations with people and find ways to really, using our gifts, make a difference in the world and make the world a bit brighter, and doing that together. So one of the many things we love to do are have live events and virtual ones where we get to talk with amazing people and share them with you guys. The invitation is always in these Seeds Storyteller series events to kind of lean in. And it's not like a observing kind of, wow, what a cool woman, and I wish I could do that sort of a thing, even though that happens to me sometimes too. The invitation is, oh my gosh, how can some inspiration, some of Polly's unique to her amazing story, have a nugget of invitation to you in your life to do something new, to learn something new, to show up anew, to pay attention to some kind of longing in your heart for adventure, just whatever it is. Just be ready to be surprised, because we really believe whoever is on this live is here with a purpose and with destiny. Like, we don't just stumble on these things. So I can't wait to hear what your what the destiny is for you being a part of this conversation. So please share with anyone that comes to mind that you think would be really excited and inspired by this conversation. And please comment. Like, what do you love? What do you question? What do you, what's a different opinion than you have? Like, wow, I don't think I really agree with that. Include that in the comments, because we want this to be a conversation, okay? And as we always do, we're gonna start with a moment, just like a 30-second place of pause, a moment to be still. And we get it, like, people are working sometimes, driving sometimes, shopping sometimes, in other parts of the world, heading to bed right now. So wherever you are, we just invite you to settle in and take a breath, okay? Because once we can be in a bit more of a peaceful, kind of less busy state in our thinking, we get to engage with these stories in a way that really has a bigger impact in our lives. So that's what we want. And we want a little peace for you in this moment. So I'm just going to read a little, very short reading from Live Ablaze. We have these 10 places of pause, I call them, in this book, because I need them like I need air to slow and to take a breath. So wherever you are, if you can, close your eyes. If you can, kind of feel your booty in the chair and your feet on the ground, and just take a breath. This can be the biggest gift of the whole day. So surrender, be still, breathe, take some long, deep breaths. Relax your muscles from the top of your head to your toes. Enjoy being, just being for a moment. Stop moving, racing, thinking, planning. And I know there's a handful of people that are coming to us on this live, and life is not easy right now. And if that's you, I believe that there is no destiny that you showed up. So please share like what it is that you need. Feel free to private message me if that's more comfortable, and share any need you have for support, for encouragement, for prayers, because this can be a hard time of year for people in the midst of all the glitz and the glitter and the fun and the festivities. My heart's with you if that's where you find yourself. So thank you for joining us. And we're going to dive in to our conversation with Polly Letofsky. And I would love for you to start, my dear sister, with, would you show us your book, please, first of all?
Well, only because you asked.
Thank you.
That's a monster.
I mean,
yeah.
And the title is 3 miles per hour. What's the subtitle again?
The Adventures of One Woman's Walk Around the World.
Yeah. So Polly, would you, because I want you to talk a bit about your book in a moment, but before we dive into that, I would love to hear like what is your kind of why in life that caused you to pack things up and walk around the world and start a publishing consulting company and be a speaker and all the vibrant things that you do? Like, what's kind of the thing that ties those things together that fuels your passion and your life?
Well, I would need a lot of therapy to answer that question. But what I do know is that I came out of the womb going, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened in my previous lives, but I certainly entered this one wanting to experience as much as I could. Mm-hmm. Even that could be in adventure, it could be in travel, It could be in business, it could be in friends, it could be, anything. I just wanted to go. I swear to God, I have this memory. I don't know how true it is because it's when I was like 7, but being in the first grade, sitting in my little desk, looking up at the clock going, oh my God, how much of this do I have left? I just wanted to get out in the world and do something and really almost learn by trial and error and learn by the seat of your pants kind of learning is what I've always been excited about. It keeps me excited. Yep. So I don't know, both my parents are from small towns in North Dakota, so I'm not quite sure how they raised 4 kids to say, no, you don't have to live this traditional life that everyone's living. And they've never even said that, but nonetheless, I certainly grew up wanting to go explore, it's like, let me go.
Okay. So tell us what were a couple of the things that led you to take this round the world journey by foot?
Well, I was 12 years old and I was growing up in South Minneapolis, having a, pretty idyllic childhood full of the kids and games every day and football, stickball, all the rest of it. Yeah. And I discovered the newspaper the summer of my 12th year and started reading the paper and seeing how different people are living different lives all over the world. Being the summer of 1974, I was reading about Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand. Those were the headlines. And I was really seeing that kids are not living the same 12-year-old's life that me and my buddies were, out climbing trees and playing on our bikes every day.
Yeah.
So it got me intrigued about the world and how it all works and ticks. And then one day reading the paper, I saw a story of this man. And well, it was a picture, and he was pulling a buggy behind him up an empty highway. And I leaned in to read the caption, and it said, David Kunst walking down Highway 6 in Colorado on his way home to Minnesota to become the first man to walk around the world. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know you could think of such a thing if you were from Minnesota. So it really intrigued me. And I thought, staring at this photo, thinking, this man is just putting one seemingly insignificant step in front of the other. But when they're chained together, they can become so powerful that they can serve as your transportation across borders and across different kinds of terrain, through different cultures with different peoples and histories and religions and languages and foods and ideas. And I thought, that's how I'm going to go see the world someday. And it stuck with me throughout, my teens and 20s. And I really didn't say anything about it because, let's face it, it's way outside the box for a 12-year-old girl in 1974. It just really was way outside the box. And if you're going to say something, you better mean it, is kind of where I was coming from. So I didn't say anything out loud until I knew it was going to happen. And that was at the age of 34, because I left at 37. So it was about age 34, and I got real serious about it. Yeah.
So 22 years, that dream kind of sat there and percolated and grew. And
I sort of always knew that I had to be old enough to, take what the world was going to throw at me, be experienced enough, mature enough to handle what the world was going to throw at me. But I had to be young enough to physically take that journey. So that intersection, for me anyway, is the age of 37, in case anyone asks. So 37 is that age. So yeah, that's
okay. So tell us, so you set out at the age of 37. Okay. And how many years did it take you?
It took me 5 years. So when you're age 37, you've got things organized. You've got, I had a mortgage and a 401k and an IRA and a job and friends and that. So I really had to go empty the condo, and I, sold it all. I had about 9 boxes left that I stored away, but I really sold everything and felt just liberated. And it really allowed me to just focus at the task at hand. But it was August 1st, 1999, with about 100 friends and family members that I took off heading west. And after a mile, they all got a ride home. And then I just kept going, and I headed west. And I had decided that in each country I walk through, I'm going to work with a breast cancer organization in that country, spread the word that they wanted spread, because the breast cancer work is different in every country and different cultural sensitivities, and some have never heard of breast cancer before. So the way that it worked is that, in fact, there wasn't fundraising in every country. Okay. Why? Because sometimes I was only in a country for a few days. Some have never heard of breast cancer before,
right?
Etc. So some didn't have a breast cancer organization, even though they've heard of it. So it varied in what I did. So there were 8 countries that I did fundraising in.
Wow.
Out of the 22 countries that I walked through, but 13 breast cancer organizations as a whole.
Okay, tell us one of the 13 that sticks or pops in your mind the most, like the country and the organization that you worked with. Tell us a little
certainly
story.
Australia. Australia was, because, it's a big country, and it took me 8.5 months to walk through it. So we did a lot of fundraising for them. But that's really when, I was creating this great foundation that took me through the rest of the world, because the first few months on my walk, I'd had crew support, and that really didn't work out. So starting off in Australia, I was on my own, and the breast cancer organization chosen for that to be a fiscal sponsor, meaning that's who we're giving our money to. The beneficiary was the Breast Cancer Network Australia. And, they took me out and that first day and had a big celebration, and we all walked north, and I remember about 100 yards walking in, and there was this piece of cloth in the street, and it was a bra. I just thought that was really ironic. To start out this big 8.5 month journey, and there was a bra, because it was with the Breast Cancer Network Australia gang. And what happened in Australia really changed the course of this whole walk. And that was that the 4th day into my journey, I was walking with my buggy Bob. Bob's on the cover. It's just a sort of revamped baby stroller is what it is. And Bob and I were about our fourth night outside Melbourne, Australia, and there was no one to help me anymore, as there had been all the way around the world so far. And I met this woman on the side of the road who said, "What are you doing?" And I told her what I was doing, and she heard my funny accent and got intrigued and said, "Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Margaret, and I'm the president of the local Lions Club. And boy, the Lions Clubs have got to get involved. Why don't you come home with me?" So I went home with Margaret, and she called all of her Lions Club buddies and said, "Meet us at the pub." And we went to the pub, and the place was packed. And
Oh my gosh, Polly.
she just passed around a hat right off a guy's head, just plucked the hat right off a guy's head and started passing this hat around, and people were throwing money into the hat, right? And the bartender announced to the cheering crowd, "We just raised $332 for the Breast Cancer Network Australia." Yay! And then Margaret called the next Lions Club up the street, and they were waiting for me and took me out to the pub and passed a hat around, and they took me to the next pub. And the next thing you know, I was doing a 2,000-mile pub crawl up the east coast of Australia. Never once used the camping gear that I had gone to great lengths to find the best. And it grew from there. It grew into an international sponsorship by the Lions, where Lions clubs and Rotary clubs and breast cancer survivors passed me village to village all the way around the world. So that's the story in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay, so great? It's amazing. It's beyond great. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I
just have a picture of you in this pub crawl. Oh, with these hats. Okay, so at what point in either your journey's planning process or on the journey itself did you decide to write a book?
Oh, probably almost when I was done. You know?
Okay, so not during it, or not like you didn't set out thinking I'm going to do this and write a book about it.
You know, I honestly had this thought in my head that I would just go on this walk and I would rarely see anybody. You know, I had this vision that I would run into a farmer and beg him to talk to me. You know, I haven't talked to anyone in 3 weeks. This was the picture in my head. That is not what happened. And so I was really quite blindsided by the enormous support I got. Enormous, like 100 people walking with me every day through some areas. So it was exhausting. But no, I really thought at the beginning that I would rarely talk to people, rarely see people, and I'll get done and I'll just go get a job and carry on with my life. For whatever reason, I have this inner compass that is driving me to do this walk, and I've got to do it or I will not be fulfilled. Okay.
Wow.
So no, I had I certainly had never written before. I hadn't written memos before, nothing. So no. What happened was when I got on the road is really when websites, cell phones, the word blog didn't exist yet, but journals. So I started keeping journals of what was going on day to day, just for my family and friends. And it really started to create this following. And then there was a writing contest. So I entered a writing contest. It was a travel writing contest. So I wrote about one of my days. And I won the contest, and I won a trip to Costa Rica. So I stopped my walk, went to Costa Rica, came back. Isn't that funny? So I realized well into my journey that I had a skill for writing anyway. If I would just be myself. That's what the trick was with writing is just be yourself. You don't have to write for anyone else. You don't have to copy anyone else. Just be yourself. And I had nothing else to be because I was out there by myself and I was just writing to my friends and family. It allowed me to free up and just, be myself writing. So, I was keeping journals and putting them on the websites, creating a following. And then when I was almost done, I was in the United States. I was almost done. And I got a call from Forbes online magazine that said, "Congratulations, you've got the #2 blog of the year." And I was like, wow, thanks. What's a blog? I didn't know what that word was. That was like 2003, I think. So,
oh my gosh.
But then I thought I have to write a book. I just really wanted to share an honest story. And that is sometimes difficult to do. If you're going to tell an honest story, you have to be vulnerable and you have to be, make yourself, be honest about when you looked bad. When you lost your temper and you shouldn't have, when you were, being stubborn or, when you didn't look good. I had to be real good about that when I wrote a book. Because there were times that I was grumpy, if you can imagine.
I actually have known you for a while, and I haven't known you to be grumpy. I mean,
I'll
lots
call
of
you
other
next time.
adjectives.
I'm
Okay,
grumpy.
call me next time. Share the grumpy moment. Note to self. Okay, so, and just a reminder, guys, please share this video with your people. That if someone comes to mind, like pop it on over into their feed, please, and share what you're liking. Like hit that, love, like, emojis, and comment below. Like, well, what's triggering your own story as you hear Polly's, because that's part of how this story gets continued. So Polly, here's one part that I love about your story, and that is that you write this book, and it took you how many years again to write the book?
Well, it took me 5 years to walk around the world and 6 years to write the book.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So you wrote the book and you went the traditional publishing route, and had it published.
No, I went the small independent press route.
Okay. And your work today with My Word came out of some pain and challenge in the publishing of this first book. Can you, because that is one of the themes I notice in stories and in work and in passion and in destiny around the world, is oftentimes our purpose grows out of the pain.
Doesn't it? Every single.
And I know that sounds trite, but it's just, for me, I just gotta, for those of you that are in a place of pain, like please don't give up hope, because sometimes that's where the gold is going to come and the flowers will grow. And so Polly, will you share both, because I want people to know, for those that are out there listening that have a book that they've already written or have a book in them to write, I want them to know about your work, because I believe in it with all my heart, and you have helped me launch my books into the world. But I also want people to hear like how your business grew out of a challenge in your life.
Yes, it was just probably the number one worst time of my life. So I walk around the world. So let's just recap. I've been thinking about it, for 22 years. Took me 3 years to plan it, 5 years to walk, 6 years to write the book, and I hand the manuscript over to a crook. Okay. And a crooked publisher, which is not, well, I don't even know if crooked is the right word, just really not professional, and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a rampant industry for that. But what did I know?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone had always told me, whatever you do, you got to keep your copyrights. I'm like, okay, I'll keep my copyrights. You got to keep your copy. Okay, I'll keep my copy. So I go and I work for this, or I get involved with this small independent press, and I said, but I want to keep my copyrights. She's like, yeah, sure. Okay. But what I didn't know anything about were the other rights. What about your sales rights, your distribution rights? What about your digital rights, your foreign rights? I didn't do anything about those. So when I realized very quickly that I was in a lot of trouble, because I'd signed a contract. A publishing contract is like a marriage where there's a start date with no end date, unless there's a lot of crying and money and, pain involved. So yeah, that's what happened. So I run from that situation, and I thought, I'm not going to let that happen again. So I'm going to figure out how to do this myself. So I do a deep dive into the industry. What is going now? This is about 9 years ago now, really, when the self-publishing world was just like on the verge of exploding. But who knew that, right? Right. So I didn't know that. But anyway, I did a deep dive into the industry, the seminars and the workshops and the blogs. I was reading, and a passion was unleashed, the likes that I hadn't felt since my walk. Where nothing's going to get in your way. And that vision is so clear. It's like, you don't even, you're like, I was like, earthquake, whatever, mudslide, jump over it. I was just like, next. And that's what was unleashed, that kind of passion.
Wow.
And what happens when you get that kind of passion, right? You want to know more, and you want to dig deeper, and you want to be the best, and you want to be the person on the panel in that industry, changing the rules of that industry. And so I was digging deep, and I redid my book under my own publishing company and learned more lessons, because apparently that's how I learn. I throw a lot of money at a problem, and then I figure my way out. So then I started helping other people do their books, and just creating flow charts and the people, and eventually I got to start a business. where I guide authors through the entire process, but they keep 100% of their rights and their royalties and their profits and their decision making. So it's very much a model built on, say, a general contractor who goes in to renovate your kitchen. That general contractor is driving that whole project. They know the right plumbers and the right electricians, when to bring them in. That's what we do for the publishing world. So as you know, we've published about 300 books at this point, and all of them have a different publishing company, because I want our authors to own everything, and it's the only way to do that. So that's the model. We essentially started a new model, and it's been working well, and I'm passionate every day. I mean, don't even get me going, because I will be on this little Facebook Live thing for hours. But
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Oh, I can't do it.
Please.
But it is a passion. I'm thrilled to death that I found a passion, because there is nothing like it. And if someone would have said in the middle of that horrible drama where someone essentially is kidnapped, my story that I had since I was 12, and I couldn't get it, they had control over it. If someone would have said in the middle of all that horrible nonsense, this will be the best thing that ever happened to you, I'd have kicked them. I'd have kicked them to the curb. Going, you're crazy, and respect my,
I don't think so. Right. Well, here's the other thing about this that strikes me is it's like, not only for you, and I think the hope is out of the really, challenging, like the deepest challenges in our lives, what an incredible picture it is of not just your business and your much of your purpose and passion coming out of that really bugger of a season, but it's one that you took that pain and you found a way to try to alleviate or to keep others from entering into the same challenges and pain that you did, where we get to share these stories with the world and do it with, keeping the rights and you guys doing so much of the stuff that many authors don't get into writing to do, all of the marketing and all of the, business stuff. You've built this amazing team to support people in their storytelling, which I love. And I mean, I'm sure you guys can get this, Polly, you just bring so much, just wisdom, yes, but levity and sass and innovation and joy, just joy to me and to the world. So before we wrap up, we want to really make sure that for those of you that have jumped on and from the very beginning or midway through, that we just take a minute and invite you to really think, what's something that Polly said? What's part of her story that made me go, have that light bulb moment, or have that moment that that you want to do something about, that you want to do something anew or think anew or be, have an element of your life that's a little bit shifted because of something you heard in Polly's story. So please, comment, share what it is. Please share it with a live person. Be like, I just talked to this or had this Facebook Live experience with this awesome woman, and here's what I learned. And because that's the way we really grow, is when we do it together and we have people remind us of the things that are capturing our attention and ask us, what are you doing about it? So if there's an actionable piece in this inspiration that you're sensing in Polly's story, please take it, because there's so much overwhelm, and there's so much fog and confusion in life, and so much pain, and that's part of being human sometimes. But there are these glimmers of ahas and glimmers of inspiration and glimmers of encouragement, and we want to water those seeds today in you, and let's just grow them together. And that's just the way I think we are even able to do the amazing things that are planted in each of us to do. So please comment, please share it with a live person. Please ping Polly and I. If you're a friend of mine and you're watching this live and you want to loop in with Polly, I would love to make that connection. If you're a friend of Polly's and we don't know each other, I would love to connect with you because we're in this for life. Hey, Polly.
For life.
Yeah,
I'm afraid so.
I wanted to loop one thing back before Polly shares one last thing. I just love this. I asked Polly, I was like, well, Polly, what would you say is like one act, big or small, that you'd like to encourage people to do? And I just want you to hear this because I think it's killer awesome. When you're this is Polly. When you're discouraged or overwhelmed, take one single step, no matter how small it is, and keep moving forward. You will, all caps, catch momentum and get back your mojo. So take that in, right? Like, what's the step? And how do we cultivate that mojo that keeps us, fiercely, or even just one tentative step at a time, whatever the thing is, like, let's keep moving together in life. Okay. So Polly, what is one thing that comes to you that you would like to say just in closing, like one last word from Polly Letofsky?
I want people to know that this became a game for me. When there was a tough time on my walk, and there were many, okay, whether it was an hour, a day, a country, whatever that was, there are going to be tough times. But what I noticed about 3 to 5 months into my walk is that there was an ebb and flow, good times, bad times, good times, bad times. And once I realized that that was the routine, it really helped me accept the tough times. And it became a game for me. I made it a game. 9/11 struck when I was in the middle of the Muslim world. Okay. And I remember thinking, okay, here we go. Because I'd noticed that pattern already. So it became a game for me. What can I learn from this? Because I will never stay down. That's not where this is. A storm has never stayed overhead. It always moves on. So if you realize that you're not going to be there forever, it's not the beginning of a trend, you will get out. So make a game of it. What am I going to learn from this? I'm miserable. And you get these tools that are going to carry you through. Like I live that. You take one small step. I don't care how tough it is. Let's say you got to write a book. I got to go to the computer and I got to write chapter 1. Well, that's too big. Okay, 1, go to the computer. 2, turn it on. 3, pull up the chapter you're going to work on. Okay, 3 steps, right? Name 3 more tiny steps. And then you collect that momentum. So the storms never stay overhead. Make a game of it. You will get through it. So yeah, thank you so much.
I love that. Wow. Well, I, as always, am happy I recorded this because I can't wait to go back and listen to the Polly nuggets of wisdom and humor. I don't know anyone that loops those two things together like you, Mr. Polly, wisdom and humor. So guys, thank you for joining. And I want to make sure you know, in the write-up of this live, there are all kinds of websites and calls to action and a link to Polly's book and just ways that we can stay connected. So please, we didn't mention that because we figured we wanted to get to the story. So if you want to go on a Polly deep dive and go down into the Polly vortex of goodness, like check out all the stuff.
Polly vortex. Oh, good Lord.
Polly vortex. And for those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. And we just want to close with this reminder that you're loved, you matter so much, even if you don't think you do, you do. You belong and we belong to each other. And just this invitation is with those things, being loved, belonging, and living that kind of value of worth. How do we stand tall and light up the world together? And let's do it. So love you guys. Catch you next time. Bye.
Bye, honey.